Okay, y'all. I'm so freaking excited. I had an intro prepared, but my best friend called me 10 minutes ago, and he just landed a six-figure job. Oh, dear Lord. Woo! Okay. He never told me. He never told me. Interviews are demoralizing. I have a friend back in Texas. We're going to call him Tom. And Tom has had over 30 interviews in the past few months. Every single week, he'd call me and he'd say, Minson, I just had a really good interview. I think I'm finally going to get the job. Only to text me a few days later and tell me that he failed. Now, when he tells me that he failed, I can sense that he feels disappointed, he feels a little bit embarrassed, he feels a little inadequate. And guys, interviews do that to us. When we fail a lot, they make us feel like we're not worth it. They make us feel, oh, I should have done this, I should have done that. But today, I'm going to give you a tool. I'm going to give you a tool that you can use in your interviews to stand out and fight past that fear. I'm going to give you a tool that has been researched for the past 50 years in psychology, therapy, and at institutions like Harvard. I'm going to show you a tool that my mentors and I have taught to hundreds of thousands of people to pass their interviews and succeed in their careers. I am going to show you the tool of clear communication so that you can interview fearlessly. But before we start, please scan this. And during my talk, if you have any questions, you can ask it in there, and I will answer some of them later. Great. So who is this articulate Asian man standing on stage? I started off as a really shy child. My childhood, although I thought I was decently smart, consisted of me getting rejected from my friends, not being able to play with the other kids. I was very lonely, similar to how companies don't accept people into their groups. Luckily, during high school, I was able to meet mentors from Harvard, the FBI, and Oxford who happened to be communication experts and teach me how to articulate myself better. They taught me that if I could use my words, I could use my body, if I could use my heart to connect with other people, I'd be able to unlock more opportunities and build better relationships for my career and for my life. And that changed me. So I decided to go out and start a communication business. And since 2020, I've had the lucky and wonderful opportunity of helping people like you guys sitting here today use communication to take their careers to the next level. But here's the problem. There's a lot of fear in our world today. And there's a misconception I want to point out. I'm going to guess that most of you guys are technical, developers, engineers. And a lot of the things you've learned is that you need to be very, very technically skilled to succeed in this world. You need to have the certifications, you need to have the credentials, you need to have the experience. And that is true. But what most people don't talk about is that even if you have those things, even if you have 30 years of experience and you have all the certifications in the world, if you can't communicate clearly in an interview, people will not remember you, you will not stand out, and you will leave feeling like Tom. Here's what the stats say. Interviews, strong communication skills account for 85% of career success. They lead to 92%. They're 92% important in faster promotions. And the lack of communication skills is attributed to 86% of failures. Now, of course, these stats are not true all the time. But imagine you're working on a team and there's a person who just doesn't fit in. There's a person who always gets angry, who always gets defensive. Or there's a person who you know is smart, but they never express their ideas because they feel scared and they feel inadequate, and they're scared that they're going to get judged. Would you want to work with them? So that's what hiring managers think. That's what interviewers think when they're in the room interviewing you. We talked about clarity. Today you're going to learn clear communication. A lot of people, they think to themselves, how can I be more confident? We're going to take the reverse approach, and instead of me showing you techniques to go out and breathing techniques, how to be more confident, how to be more calm during an interview, I'm going to argue that after today, once you're able to apply the skills that you learn, your progress in speaking more clear will automatically translate to more confidence. We're going to talk about nonverbal communication, body language, tone of voice, and how important that is. We're also going to talk about verbal communication, how to structure your words better, how to be more articulate. I know a lot of you guys interview in both English and Korean and maybe other languages. This applies to everything. Because no matter what language you're speaking, if you are articulate, people will remember you, they will think of you, and you will definitely stand out. After this intro today, we're going to talk about tone and body language first. We're also going to have an exercise in here. After that, we're going to get into the verbal section, talk about structure, mock interview exercise. Finally, Q&A, and lastly, we'll have the closing. Is everybody ready? Yes. All right, tone and body language. I'm going to talk about tone first and inflections. I'm going to show you the #1 mistake that people make when they speak in interviews. And I have seen this increasingly more common with technical fields. And that is the concept of inflections. So an inflection is how you end your phrases. For example, I can have an upward inflection when I end my phrases, which sounds uncertain and approval-seeking, or I can have a downward inflection, which sounds more authoritative and confident. If I'm answering the question, tell me about yourself, and I say this, I'm gonna give a very general answer. Hi, my name is Minson. I've been working in this field for almost 10 years, and I have a degree in this, and I have certifications in this, and yeah. How does that sound? But if I instead say, hey, my name is Minson. I've been working in this field for 10 years. I have a degree in this. I have a degree in that. Sounds much more confident, right? And all I'm doing is I'm changing the tone that the end of my sentences land on. Now, you don't want to downward inflect all the time because you'll sound too serious. But my goal for you today is to build this muscle because it is the things that most people lack. And in your interviews, if you can speak with a downward inflection 80% of the time, then you will sound much more memorable than all the other candidates. Body language. Body language can build or inhibit trust based on the movements that you use. And you guys might need to look a little bit closer to see, the camera. I'm just gonna pretend I have a chair here. If I'm sitting like this, and I have my hands on my lap, and I'm like, hey, what's up? And I talk like this, it looks like I'm hiding something. I don't seem confident in my work. I don't seem outgoing. I don't seem like I believe in what I'm saying. But if I'm in the interview room and my hands are moving, I have eye contact, I'm smiling, even if I'm talking about things that don't make sense, even if I'm not spitting out true facts, most people will take the second person as more confident and more trustworthy because of the way they speak and the way they look. So here are some researched things that are linked to good interview scores. Number one is looking professional. This isn't directly related to body language, but this is something to keep in mind. Eye contact. It is one of the biggest factors. When interviewers speak, a lot of times I see people looking over here, looking over here. I'm going to tell you a habit that a lot of us do, based on psychology, that is more prevalent in Korean and Asian cultures as well. When somebody is speaking to somebody they deem higher status, higher in rank, higher in age, or higher in social order, they will tend to look away from their eyes more than the other person does to them. The downside of this is it makes you look less confident. And us Asians, if you're Asian here, you know that when you speak to elders, right, you don't stare them directly in the eye, you look down to show deference. If you can catch this habit and improve your eye contact, you're improving one dimension. Another thing that has been researched to show good interview scores is head nodding and head movement. Notice how these things don't just apply to when you're answering, but when you're also listening. I've seen a lot of people in the interview room, when the interviewer asks a question, just stare like this. I'm listening, like that. And they just give a blank stare to show that they're processing information. Compare that with somebody who, when the interviewer is talking, of course, to a certain extent, smiles and nods like this. Yeah. Oh, okay. Okay, yeah, sure, I can answer that. You guys feel the difference? The second one is much more engaging, and it shows them that you're positive and that somewhat relates to more trustworthiness. Some other things that you can do with these body language tips is show your hands. If I was walking around the stage and I was doing this, I would give up a much different impression than if I were to move my hands like I have been doing. What hand gestures do is not only do they improve the articulation of your words because they give you this internal emphasis to what you're saying, but they also help people remember what you say more clearly because they can associate your words with what they see. So hand gestures, eye contact, head nodding. And with tone, upward inflection and downward inflection. Are you guys ready to practice? Yeah, let's go, let's go. All right, so I want you to pair up with somebody next to you. Don't take too long. Assign somebody, person A and person B. I'm gonna let you guys go pair up first instead. Take around 10, 15 seconds. All right, does anybody not have a partner? Great, if you see somebody lonely, make sure to invite them. Okay, guys, so one of y'all is going to be person A. The second person is going to be person B. So one person is person A, the second person is person B. Person A asks one of these questions up here. Person B answers. Any confusion about this? Here is what you practice. If you are person A, I want you to practice smiling and nodding when person B is answering. Please do not creep them out by doing it too much. If you are person B, I want you to practice hand gestures as you are answering the other person's question. And after you are done, you switch roles. Everybody got it? One disclaimer. If you feel awkward in this exercise, you are doing it right. So please push through that awkwardness. Everybody ready? Time start. All right. Before we move on to the next section, I want you guys, whoever you just talked to, opportunity to network and get their contact after the event. Who here barely smiles, barely nods, barely uses body language normally that just applied it today? Okay, sir in the middle. Do we have a microphone? Okay. How did you feel?
Which one?
Yes. Stripe shirt.
Okay, should I stand?
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. It felt more engaging for me to interact with the person I was talking to. Even though I wasn't saying anything, it felt more engaging as I was smiling and nodding. And somehow it kept me attentive as well because I listened more and I didn't zone out because I was in the conversation. Thank you.
So by smiling, nodding, it kept you more attentive too, just because you did those gestures. Okay. I believe you're here.
Wait, one sec. Yeah. I've done it before, so I just couldn't understand the question. So for me, it's natural to
For you,
smile.
it's natural.
And, yeah.
Yeah. Well, before you sit down, what do you think in your mind during a conversation that makes it natural?
For me, with other people is like ping pong. It's like you try to give a thought, and we try to try to develop the idea, and maybe some kind know of the reaction, or maybe predict the reaction of your vis-a-vis, maybe. So it's like this one. For me, for me, it's ping pong. Yeah.
It's ping pong.
So
Okay.
yeah, thank you.
Thank you, sir. Okay. Who else applied it for the first time? I saw you raise your hand earlier.
I'm not good in English.
Yeah, me too.
Oh, you don't have to do it.
Go ahead, man. Try in Korean.
그 질문이 뭐였죠?
Basic.
베이시.
약간 그 뭔지 그 사람한테 그 대화를 이렇게 드릴 때 그 사람 그 상대방한테
다음에 하겠습니다.
You want to do it in Korean?
For the
Yeah, you got this.
Got this! Give him a round of
Okay. So first, is there someone to explain me about what was the question about I should speaking in? Because I didn't understood fully what are we talking about, like structure?
applause. The question
When you raise
is,
your hand.
Yeah.
how does it feel applying body language?
Playing body language.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, it make more being better to giving my sentence to the role B. Yeah. So I can make a point in my opinion.
It helps you make
Yeah,
a point
making like stronger and
stronger.
less stronger because when I'm talking in more about my product, like my project, then I want to giving a very good point in my project, so I can make my hand to giving a sentence like this is the important moment. Yeah, like this.
Oh.
Yeah, you're choosing.
Yeah.
Yeah, with my hand. Yeah.
Helping you emphasize important points.
Yes.
All right,
Thank you.
everybody give this
Yeah,
speaker a round of applause.
awesome.
So you mentioned a really good point. Who here knows John F. Kennedy? Everybody. So when he was giving the speech, I believe at Rice University, and he was talking about going to the moon, a lot of really good speakers, when they're speaking or when they're in interviews, will have what we call an emphasis gesture. This was John F. Kennedy's emphasis gesture. And if you watch the speech, each time he'd say something important, he'd put his thumb out and he'd do this. And you would feel the weight of what he was saying. Now that we've talked about tone and body language and you got the opportunity to apply it, we're going to talk about one of the biggest tools to make your words sound clear: structure. Now here's what most people think is true in the technical world. If I give more detail during my interview, I will do better. The more I tell my interviewer, the better explanation I will give, the more they'll understand. I need to use advanced words and jargon and stuff regarding AI and stuff regarding stuff that's new to stand out, to sound smart. And if I sound smart, my chances will be higher. So I need to sound as smart as possible in an interview. This is not always true. If you were an interviewer and you talked to 10 candidates from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m., and you're tired and you want to go home, and you're like, I hate this interview process, I just want to get it over with. And somebody comes in and they start talking about all this complex stuff, trying to impress you, and they're talking for 5 minutes in a row, and they're not pausing. How would you feel? Tired. Yeah. You wouldn't want to be there. Although they're smart, they're not likable, you don't remember them, and they exhaust you. So why would you hire them, right? The reality is they might be low in energy. You sound less organized. And when you use more words, this is psychological, people tend to believe that you're hiding something. When you look at liars, when you talk to somebody who's lying, they will tend to use more words to cover up the truth. We're used to this, so even when we're talking to somebody who's not lying, the more words they use, the less trustworthy they'll feel. Here's the problem though. When you're under pressure, you speak in circles, stuff happens, you go over unnecessary detail, you start going all over the place with your words. I know some of y'all have experienced this because you guys practice your interviews. I know a lot of you probably have scripted answers. You have scripts, you practice your interviews, and then you go into the actual interview room and you forget part of it, and you're like, oh crap, what'd I do? And you make something up, and afterward you're like, oh, why did I forget that? It's completely normal. That's what pressure does to us. When our mind is in fight or flight mode, and we're trying to make a good impression, and we're a little scared, it's really hard for us to think clearly and logically with the same mindset that we had before the interview. This makes us sound unprepared, slows down decisions for the interviewer because they don't know what the heck you're talking about. They have to use their energy to really get to your point if you're talking about 100 different things. And like I said, it makes you seem less trustworthy. The solution to this is having a speaking structure. I'm going to show you 3 today, and we're going to practice them. A speaking structure is a framework that you have in your head to organize your thoughts so that you think clearer and the other person hears you clearer. The first one I'm going to show you. Oh, this question thing's not supposed to be here. I don't have this slide. Okay, oh, who here has the sheet of paper? Who here has the half sheet of paper? Who here doesn't have the sheet of paper? Raise your hand. You don't have a sheet of paper? Somewhere back. Oh, that then has it. All right. Keep raising your hand if you don't have a sheet of paper. Oh, this is perfect. So at the bottom of the sheet of paper, you'll see 3 speaking structures. Again, these will make you think clearer and help the other side hear you clear. The first speaking structure is called PREP, or point, reason, example, point. The second speaking structure is called problem, pain, and solution. And the third speaking structure is fact, opinion, reason. Now, these will be applicable in different types of situations, and it's your job to figure out what feels most natural at the moment. I'm going to give you an example of each one. Let's say you ask me, what's my favorite animal? Let's do PREP, the first one. And I say, well, my favorite animal is a goldfish. I love goldfish. They have cool fins, and they're gold, and I had one when I was little, and I don't know, they're kind of cool, and they're kind of smart as well. Yeah, I heard they're really smart. You don't know what the heck I just said. I just went in a bunch of circles, I repeated like 10 things. But if you ask me, Minson, what's your favorite goldfish? I'm like, what's your favorite fish? My favorite fish is a goldfish. The reason I love goldfish is when I was little, I took care of one, and I raised one. For example, when I went home one day, it swam to the tank, and it looked so excited just to see my face. And it made me really, really happy. Yeah, man, I love goldfish. You see how easy that is to remember? So when you apply this with something a lot more complex, it helps the interviewer separate your words into different compartments in their mind so they remember you clear. Let's do problem, pain, solution. The problem nowadays is a lot of people, they put too much emphasis on technical skills. So they go out and get all these certifications and improve all these things, but they don't do anything for their communication skills. Because of this, interviewers are a lot harder for a lot of people, especially the really smart ones who are shy and who aren't used to speaking up. The solution is to come to Minson's workshop at 7 p.m. today. Problem, pain, solution. And the last one, fact, opinion, reason, you can use to negotiate and you can use to push back on somebody else's opinion tactfully. So let's say you're in a meeting with a person, and I'm using these different scenarios so you get a better understanding of the framework, but we're all going to apply to interviews. So you're in a meeting with a person, and they say something that you don't like. You think was rude, but you don't want to say it during the meeting. So after the meeting, you say, so Florian, in the meeting, you talked over Kate 3 different times. That's the fact. It felt like you weren't really valuing her opinion because you talked 90% of the time. See. Fact, opinion, reason. And then in that scenario, you would end up with a question. How do you feel about this and all of that? But you guys get the point. It's prep. These frameworks help you organize your thoughts and help the other person absorb your thoughts into different compartments. So here's what we're going to do. I want you to partner up with a different person. For each turn, assign somebody person A, person B. Person A picks a random interview question in the paper. Now, if you want more basic questions, you can request the other person to ask more basic questions. If you want intermediate or advanced, it depends. The other person, person B, answers using one of the structures below. Do what feels the most natural. Don't try to force it. And if all of them feel unnatural, just pick the first one. After person B answers, this is where you get the tools for improvement. The person who asked the question then gives the interviewee feedback. So based on their answer, what do you think they can improve? What do you think they did good? What do you think could have gone better? And the other person has to take notes on their phone. Because without the notes, you won't remember the feedback. And then you switch roles and repeat. Any questions? I have a mission for you guys. When you're doing this exercise, if you see somebody who's sitting alone and staring at their phone, add them to your group. Everybody understand? All right, time to start. Good luck. Okay. Attention. If you hear me, I want you to yell. Never mind. We don't need to yell anymore. Okay, let's break this down. We're in a good mood. You got into conversations, you're happy, you're talking with people. Who here learned something about themselves? All right, sir, in the dark blue. Yes. Oh, sorry. Oh, here. Yes. What did you learn about yourself doing this exercise?
Should I stand up or?
Oh, yes, please stand up.
Hi, everyone. One thing I'd say I learned about myself is that I repeat the same statement twice.
Oh.
And I bounce back from, for example, I would say 1, 2, 3, but then I would say 1, then 3, then 1, then 2, then 3. I guess so. It's something I have to work on, and thank you for helping me pointing it out, and thank you for Ehwan as well.
Yeah.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Okay, who else learned something about themselves?
Oh, it's on. Hi, I'm Guli. All right. I've been between interviews. I found myself talking when they ask questions about my experience or related project. I kept talking and talking, and I catch myself, Guli, what are you doing? Yeah, because now I know that I lack structure about what are my answers for, That's what I learned.
Okay, awesome. Yeah. So we got 2 great answers. So you caught yourself going to different places, and you noticed that you asked yourself, like, what am I doing? What am I doing? That mental thought, the realization of your lacking structure. Anybody else? Anybody who's not a native English speaker learned something?
So I saw some hands.
My friend.
So that's very nice, very nice.
Hi, nice to meet you, everyone. So today I got to learn about, I use too many words in the sentences, and also going here and there all over the place. And there were some compliments that I use hand gestures, I maintain eye contact, and some of them were really good, but some things I need to work on.
So things
I
you
got
weren't
to.
aware of before.
Somewhat.
Yeah. Okay, awesome.
Thank you.
Now, when you have when you have somebody watching you and giving you feedback, they can often see a lot of things that you can't. So it's really good for you because when we're focused on our answer, when we're answering, we have this limited tunnel vision. It's really helpful to get somebody observing or watching you do a mock interview. Now, to flip it to the future, what will you do differently next interview? Now, I want you guys to take around 30 seconds, sit in silence, and think about this. Any volunteers?
I think I would probably plan out and use these answer structures because a lot of us tend to go in loops, and me too. And so probably learning these answer structures so the next time a question comes, I can plan out my answer instead of trying to spew out what my mind is thinking.
Yeah, that's good first. Anybody else? Oh, Max.
Where? Which?
And your answer structures.
Thank you. To this day, I think I didn't use any structure in the interviews. I did more than 30 or more than 30 interviews to this day, and I think I under-explain myself. I think in my mind, I assume the interviewer know some of the stuff I'm talking about, and then I think I over-smile. I mean, I think I should be. I think I should be.
Okay, awesome. So
Thank you.
You learned that you need to learn more structures. Is there anybody in the audience who would label themselves as naturally shy who learned something?
Okay, thank you for giving me a microphone.
Great to see you.
Yeah. Okay, so as a person who tried to overcome feeling shy or feeling nervous,
Yeah.
I think the one big thing that I always face is try to be confident, confident for both on my outer side and inner side as well. So in order to be more confident, I would try to smile more and try to just deliver only focal points of what I want to give it to others. So this will be the thing that I will adjust in my next interview. Yeah, thank you.
So you guys can see that although we focus the exercise on structure, we have a lot of different things that you learn. Focal points, smiling, even the fact that you just need to learn a structure in general. And that is the beauty of this process, is that you get to learn from yourself. And if you treat interviewing and communication like a skill, instead of just doing interview A, interview B, interview C, and you actually try to give yourself feedback in between or practice with somebody, it becomes something that has a path for you to walk down and improve. Let's do some. Oh,
Yeah, I have a question. So she said she doesn't smile enough, and he said he smiles too much. So
yes.
So the problem does not have to do with the smiling. So what kind of feedback do you have for them regarding their reflection process on the interviews? Because smiling can't be it.
Right. It's definitely situation dependent, but I'm going to answer this on two fronts. Number one, if the other person you're speaking with, the interviewer, is in a happy mood and they're smiling, you match how much they're smiling. If they are in a happy mood and smiling. If they are not in a happy mood and smiling, and they look like they hate you, don't think smile, but think warm. Just think warm. Give a slight smile like this. You don't need to, as they're looking at you. But the reason why we do this is our behavior affects how people feel as well. So if we're happy and energetic, it tends to pull people up in certain circumstances. If they are not in a good mood and you match that, then the energy of the interview is going to go down and down and down and down, and you're probably not going to get a good result. So that's what I'd say. Thank you for your question. Oh, yes. And by the way, if you can scan this and ask questions, we're going, oh, there you go.
Thank you for the lecture. During the practice exercise, I feel it's kind of hard to follow the structure because you don't immediately know the answer to the question.
Yeah.
So to follow perfectly the structure, you have to have immediately the idea of what point you want to deliver. But then if you don't, you get this awkward pause.
Right.
And so I'm not sure what's better, to pause and think and then deliver a clearer, shorter message, or to, say many words while you're trying to figure out what you're saying. Well, what looks better in an interview setting?
It's a really good question. Do you play a sport? Do you play a sport or an instrument?
I swim.
You swim? Who here doesn't swim? Okay, Florian, let's say
Me?
somebody throws you in the Han River tomorrow, and you have to figure out how to swim, or you're training to swim. It's going to be very, very awkward at first. But the point is, when you learn a sport or you learn any type of skill, you have to be in it, you have to make mistakes, you have to mess up in order for you to get that feedback. So one of the options you gave me was pause before you answer. If you constantly tell yourself, oh, I have to pause, and I have to think of the perfect answer before I give my answer, to a certain extent, that's fine. but you're going to get yourself into the mindset of, oh, I can't do it until I'm ready. I can't do it until this is perfect. And you're going to hesitate, and you're going to second guess yourself. Now, you're probably thinking, well, Minson, what if I'm not prepared to answer? What if I know I'm going to do bad? If you know you're going to do bad, then still, in the long run, if you dive into it, you're like, okay, you know what? It's not going to be perfect. I'm just going to do my best. In the long run, the next, maybe it's not this interview, but maybe the next 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 interviews, you're going to be a completely different person here than you are there if you have the courage to mess up and dive in.
So the answer is you have
Yes.
to prepare all of the questions.
Prepare all the...
Prepare all the answers.
Yes, and you don't have to be perfect.
Thank you.
And maybe if I have one point on this one very quickly is if you target company A and you are like out of touch with your interview skills, don't apply to company A right away. Apply to company B, C, D, E, and maybe have some experience. And then when you're kind of ready, because they will trick you with some questions we're not ready. When you're ready, okay, A is my target. This is where.
Thank you, Florian. Thank you. Sorry, I got distracted by the second question here. Okay. Let's scroll down. What can I do if I forget my words of excitement? Prove if I have to answer the question. Okay, I'm going to answer these 2 questions down here very quickly. And if you have another question, you can raise your hand because I can't scroll in here. So what can I do if I forget my words during an interview because of excitement? I'm going to give you a way to prevent this and a way to recover from this. To prevent this, when we are nervous, most people tend to speak faster. So if you had a recording of yourself speaking when you're under pressure, you're probably going to be speaking faster than you think you are. So slow down. Speak 20% slower in an interview than you think you need to be speaking. It's going to sound awkward, it's going to sound weird, but you're going to realize that it's much easier to gather your thoughts and prevent yourself from forgetting something mid-interview. Now, if you do forget something, and this is where the recovery measure comes in, if you do forget something, most interviewers that I've worked with do not care if you pause and take a breath. They do not care. And whatever part you just forgot, skip that and go to the next part. Or whatever you think is best in that moment. And at the end, you can say, oh. And one more thing I didn't mention, really quick, and you can give a quick blurb on what you forgot. So to prevent it, you slow down, and to recover from it, you pause, you take a breath, go to the next best thing you think you can say, and if you do remember it, then you can mention it quickly at the end. That's how you deal with forgetting stuff during an interview. The question disappeared. Anybody want to verbalize their question? You can give it.
So my question is, when you go into different interviews, it will have different energy. It's like when you talk to someone in English and you talk fluently with some of them, and when you see someone who's super native and you're like, whoa, and your mind is like pause. So this happened to me all the time when I go to the interview. Some people give me really nice energy and they're welcoming, and I'm not that nervous, so I can be confident of myself. And on some of the interviews, they're so serious, and when I smile, I feel like a joker. So how do you strongly push back those energy and just be yourself and talk confidently? Like, how was your experience on that?
So I had a professor when I was in college who's just the most bubbly and positive person you can think of. But she wasn't naive. So we had a small classroom of around 26 students, and every semester, we were with her for multiple semesters. She would have one-on-ones with every student at random times. Sometimes, we didn't want to be in her office, but we had to. Now, I can remember, I had a bad day, I wanted to go home, didn't care about anything. She invited me to her office. And despite how bad of a day I was having and how sad my expression looked and how down I felt, she would just not stop smiling and being positive and making it feel like that she cared about me. There was something in that conversation that made me feel that, okay, I'm not in my best state right now, but I feel safe, I feel vulnerable, I feel connected. Relating that back to your question, when I talked to her after my semester on, hey, how were you able to do this? I know you talk with so many people, how are you always in a positive mood? She said, no matter who I'm in the room with, who I'm talking with, I always think of helping the other person do something. So if you're in an interview room, if they have a bad day or if they don't look good, I'm going to help get them in a more positive mood. Maybe they look angry. I'm going to help lighten up their day. I'm going to help them learn about me and how I might be a good employee at the company. I'm going to help them smile.
Another question comes up. Thank you for the answer. Of course, it will help me. I do that too, and I make jokes, nice jokes to cheer them up, and they don't smile.
What joke?
I don't remember. I'm like about.
Yeah. Yeah. Do not like you?
Oh.
Oh, does not like you?
Well, I want to test if you are stress resistant. So
Stress resistant?
Not be so nice to you.
Do you guys know where I'm from? Any guesses? Huh? No. Yeah. Texas, there you go. So in the South, I always tell this to myself. So have this phrase on your head that you repeat, basically telling yourself, no matter how the other person feels, that's not going to affect you. So for me, it's when I go into an interview, and if the other person has negative energy, I think to myself, that ain't going to affect me. That ain't my energy. F that. I'm here, and however they're feeling is not going to affect how I'm feeling, because I'm going to help them have that positive lift in their day. Keep repeating that to yourself. It's not going to be instant. It's still going to be scary. You're still going to feel nervous, but that will help a lot. Thank you for the question.
Thank you.
We have more? Yeah.
Yes, we have questions up here as well. How can I? Yes.
I try to be confident every day, but every day also I keep losing my confidence, especially in front of my boss or senior engineers. And how could I maintain confidence?
So right now, are you working in a job?
Yes.
Are you in a role right now?
Yeah.
And what do you think makes you not confident in front of your senior engineers?
I feel like I'm not smart as a senior, and I think then makes me feel like smart.
Oh, I think you're probably smarter than them. It's a very, thank you for being vulnerable. It's a really serious issue. Like when we're in the room with somebody who has a lot more experience or a lot more credentials, it's very easy and it's very normal to feel like you're inadequate, you don't have the ability, and you're not supposed to be there. So you just sit with it and you do something to make a change. Today, it was communication skills. So for example, if you are it is hard for me to tell you just not to ignore that because it's a real problem and it's outside of the scope of this presentation for me to tell you psychologically what to do and how to get rid of that feeling. That's not my expertise. But from my experience, if you're feeling that, and you take what we learned today, the communication skills, and you start making small changes. For example, the voice. A lot of times when we talk to people we feel scared in front of, we tend to speak like this, with the upward inflection. So next time, when you speak to them, downward inflect. Dare to speak like this. They're not going to call you out. It's going to feel scary. But start making those small changes. Because although you might not be able to change that situation right away, those small shifts will give you that confidence. But the point is, you need to take action first. Find somewhere you can improve on so that you can gradually overcome the situation. I hope that helps.
Thank you. I'm gonna start with baby step.
Thank you.
We have 2 more questions. Time for 2 more.
Okay. 2 more questions? Okay.
First of all, thank you for your presentation. It was really nice to hear your knowledge about interviewing. And I have one question. So during the interview, let's say you hear a question that you don't know the answer to. So how to answer to that question? Just say frankly that I don't know, or just to make up some sort of answer?
That's a really good question. So I've dealt with a bunch of situations like this, and I've talked to recruiters who have asked those questions. There's multiple ways you can approach it, but the one that will apply to most situations is what I call you draw a boundary, and then you go into what you do know. Let me tell you the mistakes that most people make first. You don't want to just make things up. And then we had a question on how to lie. Now, I'm not going to stop you. If you're good at that, you can do that. You also don't want to just say, I don't know, straight up. What you want to do instead is first establish, let's say you get asked something you don't know. You say, okay, so I don't have the knowledge to answer that exactly, but if you were talking about X, Y, Z, this is what I could do. For example, earlier when she was asking the question on how to deal with that situation with her senior manager, I said, so that's outside the scope of this presentation, and I'm not an expert in psychology and the feeling stuff. But here's the tip that I can give you from what I know works. So you start with the boundary, and then you go into what you know works, or what you think you can do to show that you have some sort of understanding of the situation. Thank you for your question.
Thank you for your answer.
Okay.
We have 1 more question.
One more question.
You choose.
Okay. You look so eager.
Over there? The longest walk for me? In the middle.
He was trying to give me. Okay. Thank you for your presentation. So almost most of us here are from technical background like CS or programming or something. So when we go for interview, we have to handle 2 things. first our technical skills. We have to show our technical skill and then the communication skill. So what I have understand, all this method mostly come for communication skill. So can we apply same for our technical skill also? Because sometimes interviewers are not too keen to know how well I speak, how organized I am, but looking for something X I know or not.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
are these two different thing, or it's same, the script that we have, we can follow the same?
Really good question. So even if they're looking for technical skills, if you go and you start talking in 10 different circles about all you know and stuff, even if they're focused on technical skills, it's going to be hard for them to remember everything that you said. So the goal is, how do you take those technical skills and apply it into a framework like PrEP, like problem, pain, solution? So in that way, yes, you can still mention the details if they're looking for that, but you also put it into neat little compartments so they can remember it better. Because even if they want to remember everything, they can't. So your job is to make it easier for them through taking those technical skills and communicating it through the lens of clear communication. I hope that helps.
All right, we have
All right.
time for more questions during the networking or social media. Are you done with the presentation?
Almost done. I have a closing. Yes, okay. Okay. I've shown you a skill today that will help you get the advantage in your interviews over people who are smarter, over people with more experience, and over people with more credentials. But it is useless unless you go out and practice it, like we did today. One thing you can do is, after your interviews, sit down by yourself for 5 minutes and just write down what you think went well, what could have been improved, and then pick one thing and apply it to your next interview. If you want to go above and beyond, find somebody in this group, find a friend, find somebody that you trust that will be willing to give you harsh feedback and be straight to your face about what you're doing wrong, what you're doing right, and do mock interviews with them. Because if you don't do this, I guarantee you just wasted 2 hours. You wasted 2 hours. Only if you practice can you get feedback, and then you grow. And like the small steps we talked about earlier, this is how you go and apply this. And when you are in that boardroom, I promise you that it will still be scary. Even though you know this, you will still feel under pressure, you will still feel nervous, you will still shake. And it's completely normal. But the level of your communication skills will fall back to the level that you practice them to. And you may not be the smartest, you may not have the most credentials, and you may not even have all the role requirements. But if you can communicate with clarity, you will be able to interview fearlessly. Thank you.